Hey, it's Biddy Penny. Welcome back to my channel. It's also Stampin' Saturday. So I pulled out this kit that just came in the mail. This is the February paper pumpkin. I am going to do 5 cards today, but it's going to be a little different because I'm not going for huge alternatives necessarily, except for in the way I'm going to use my card bases. I am going to use all 9 card bases, but on 5 cards. So I'm going to be decorating the insides of my card quite a bit and just using up the paper. I really wanted to do 5 cards, 1 kit, but I also don't want to have a bunch of card kits remaining in my stash because that's already a problem I've got. So anything new that comes in, especially these paper pumpkins, I'm trying to use all of the consumables so that all I have left are stamps and ink and maybe some of these stamping dimensionals. So, and glue dots are always left over. I just put down some vellum with the glue dots so it wouldn't show through. I popped up the bouquet with the Stampin' Dimensionals, and now I'm going to be addressing the inside of the card. So this card was most definitely the most simple card out of the whole bunch. I just cut down this card base and brought in some of the ephemera punch outs, and it's just very simple, but I think it's effective and beautiful. And I left it without a sentiment with intention so that I could use it for anything I like. And that's it. That card is done. So the other thing, the sentiments in this kit were really based on kind of current events and recognizing that people needed more sympathy cards, unfortunately. And so I did try to switch it up and have different sentiments, although I could always use sorry for your loss in my stash because those, I just don't sit down and get real excited about making sympathy cards. All right, so this is my second card. And I took one of the card bases, I folded it inside out so the white was on the outside. And then I covered that with another, I'd cut a card base in half and covered the front with that. And now I'm going to deal with these extremely fussy stickers. So I used 2 today and I threw one away because I just didn't want to deal with it again. I appreciate that they were trying something new, and I think they're beautiful. I love the script. But anyone with dexterity challenges or patience, a lack of patience, may not like these very much. And I fall in the second category. But I made it work. I got it on there. I didn't rip it, and it laid flat. So success. All right, so now I'm just taping this down to my card base, and then I will use glue dots to adhere this to the card front. I also am going to use this Mossy Meadow ribbon, or it's twine, and I'm just going to fold a little bow because I thought it would be nice to add some texture to this card. And I will also use some ephemera as I'm playing with it here. So guys, if y'all watch my channel very often, then you probably already know I really figure things out as I go. So I very rarely have a pre-planned idea about a card. I mean, I get lots of ideas. I write some of them down and I leave others filed in my brain somewhere. But for the most part, I kind of just get supplies in my hands and start letting my creativity go and see where it takes me. So, that's definitely what I'm doing here today. That's how I like to roll. All right, so I'm just adhering down the bow with a glue dot, and then I will glue this ephemera on. I am a floral person, like when it comes to perfume and cards and just about anything. I just love florals. I have pictures of flowers hanging all around the house. Flowers just make me happy. And so I was very pleased with the kit this month. I like the theme. I love those bouquets and the ephemera that they included. So this one is going to be a sorry for your loss card, and the front just says thinking of you. And again, I am just taking these card bases and cutting them as I like for whatever size paper I want at the time. And I'll just glue all of this down or tape it down. You know, as with all of my card making videos, if you don't have the supplies that I have, I really just hope that you are inspired to use what you have, maybe in a similar way, or it just gives you an idea about design. And so, you may not have this paper pumpkin kit to work with in your stash, but maybe you can still employ these designs and these ideas so that you can make beautiful cards too. All right, so this is card number 3. And I am just trimming this down because I want it smaller than my card base, and that way I can see some of the card base behind it. And I chose one of the solid colored Rococo Rose card bases. You could glue, if you do have this kit, you could glue these doilies down with the gold down and the white up if you wanted to. I just really liked them gold, so I left it. I don't have like a lot of gold doilies in my stash, so I thought it was fun playing with that. I did take the twine and I just ran it along the edge for a little extra texture and interest on the card. And I really like that. So here's the solid Rococo Rose base. And sometimes I unfold my card base because I feel like I get a better placement for the card front that I'm adding on it. All right, moving on to the inside. Now guys, I used like every scrap of paper. So these little green scraps that you see here, I had like 2 of those, I think, left over, and that was all the paper that I had left over by the time I got done making my cards. And honestly, I just threw it in the trash. Like, I don't need to hold on to 2 quarter-inch pieces of paper. Like, just let it go. Free up the craft room, right? I got all the use I needed out of it and let those go. I really kind of like this design. I even think it would be pretty on the card front. And, I guess I'm having a lot of fun in 2021 exploring all the ways that I can really decorate the insides of my cards. And like in this instance, I'm kind of just making 2 cards in one. Like, I think this design would be great for the front of a card too. But I'm putting it on the inside. So for a card maker, it's kind of like double the fun. Okay, so I folded this card inside out as well, and then took the piece that I had cut before, and that is going to go on the front. Now, this is definitely one of those cards where I'm going to play around a little bit and figure out exactly what I want to do, but I want to leave that in for you guys. So, you know, you see that I just play along and figure it out as I go. I really enjoy paper pumpkins. Honestly, just because it's a kit you can sit down, you can make 5 or 10 cards and be done with it. You can have a little bit to build in your stash. And there's just something so easy and free about it. You're not I don't feel overwhelmed by a whole big box of new supplies or, um, I feel like the way that they present the materials, having the punch outs for the ephemera and different things, there's something about it that's just so approachable. I would really recommend it for new card makers because the designs that they send you, I know that it's popular to see the alternatives that people make with these kits, but the designs that they come up with are just beautiful in themselves. And they could really help a new card maker, deepen their skills of arrangement and design. So I'm a fan of it. I even think these kits are fun for people who aren't necessarily card makers, but are like crafters. Like I could easily give one of these kits like to my mother, who's definitely not a card maker, but she's crafty. And I think she would have a lot of fun making herself some cards and following the instructions and the pictures and the directions and having everything she needed in a kit. She could make cards and just have a good time and move on with her life. So I do think they make great gifts in that way as well. I also like that the kit is $22 a month with shipping included. You know, all these stamp companies are like putting out kits that are like $40, $50 a month by the time you pay the shipping. And that just gets a little pricey. It's nice to have something that's like 20 bucks and it does build up your stash. You do get a stamp set, you do get an ink pad, you get some glue dots and dimensionals and things, and you also get a handful of cards. I think that's a good value. And maybe if you're, have a more limited budget, maybe you live on a fixed income or something like that, but you want a subscription and you want a card kit, I think this is a good choice. All right, so that is pretty much the inside of that card. So again, we have a thinking of you. It could be used for anything. And this is the only thing I brought in from my stash that's not included in the kit this month. It's some Nouveau drops and mustard seed, and I just really wanted to enhance those flower centers. And I think they just tied everything in so beautifully. I could not resist my doing that. Okay, I can tell that my supplies are dwindling. I had this sheet that I had cut some off of, and I decided to use this to make a flap on my card. So this card is super fun, and it was like my juices were finally flowing, right? Like by the time I got to the 5th card, it was on, and I made my favorite card of the night. So I'm just adding this for the inside, and I am going to burnish it down with my bone folder just to make sure it's fully secured and adhered. And now this is just so much fun because you have 3 panels on the inside to decorate. More cards. More card detail, yes. So I only had one doily left and one vellum piece. So I'm going to use them both on here. I had one big bouquet left. I had a few little flowers and pieces of ephemera, and I'm just going to use it up. This card is going to get a lot of good treatment. I do find that each month what I have left are labels, like the ones that are up there in that top left corner of my screen, which is fine. I can totally use those anytime. So I don't mind that those are left over. All right. So I think this is what we're going to do here. And now I just need to stamp my sentiments on my little labels, and then I'll start gluing things down. This is a sympathy card. And I just think it's so lovely. And I actually really like that it's just bright and, you know, there is cheer just in the colors that they selected this month, and I really like that. Now on this one, again, I'm just using the glue dots, and then I do add a little extra tape behind the label. And like I said, I used every like sliver of paper. So my dad used to restore, rebuild, remodel cars, and he would do like the most amazing striping jobs on them and all kinds of stuff, but I always like adding a pinstripe to my cards the way I did on that inside flap, and it always makes me think of him. He would be proud. So, you know, I am just playing around. Have a feeling, and I'm planning on using this twine to kind of tie this card together. So I play with that just a little bit to make sure that's what I want to do. And then I decide to finish this card off. And I'm going to use my very last sheet of paper out of the whole kit. And I'm going to stamp this beautiful bouquet on it. I really liked the bouquet and the stamp set, but I didn't feel like coloring, obviously, when I was making this video, so I did not color it at all. I just stamped it with black ink on the patterned paper, and for me, that's all the card needed. If you enjoy coloring, you would probably enjoy coloring this bouquet. Sometimes I'm in the mood to color, but it's not my favorite thing to do. I think I like construction. I am a card construction worker. I'd love to know in the comments down below which card you like, if there's anything new here that's inspired you. Do you get the paper pumpkin? If you're interested, I will have the links down below. I do have a Stampin' Up! Website page where you can go and order it or anything else you like. And you can get it on a monthly basis. And I just think they're a lot of fun. So here are the cards I made. This was the first one. Cut and dry, pretty clean and simple. I'm trying to remember. What was the next one? And I see that I need to do an edit, so I'm going to go ahead and just fix that up. No reason to wait. Just get it done. So this one's I really like this one too. I liked that they included the sentiment plus what would be a good inside stamp. I'm always wanting more, you know, something more substantial on the inside sometimes. So it's nice to have stamps like that. And this one is so different. I really like the way this turned out. And then here is my last card. I'm just going to kind of move things out of the way so we can open it up. And my Nuvo drops were still wet, so I didn't want to make a mess. But I just think this is so beautiful. I'm sure I'll be sad when I have to use this card, but I'll be happy it's in my stash. And I like this, and I don't mind at all that rose color is showing on the background or on the back of the card. That doesn't bother me. If it bothered you, you could put paper back there after you had adhered it down. So that's it. Those are the cards. I am going to show you what I had left. So the ink spot, which I immediately put in my drawer, done. I had a little bit of twine, some glue dots, some dimensionals, put those in the adhesive box. I had this, but I threw it away. And a stamp set. And then I also threw this paper away. Just being completely honest with you guys. Well, thanks so much for watching. If you're still here, I really, really appreciate it. And if you haven't, think about subscribing. It's free. And give me a like. Talk to y'all later. Bye.